Good morning to all my friends out there. It is Sunday. Welcome to Sunday morning, guys. We were just listening to Anchor by Skillet, and it is so refreshing to know that we have got a God who is our anchor. And Sunday mornings are a great place for us to start with that. It is a great place for us to remember that we have got hope. We've got something that, keeps us really cemented in what is good, what is right, what is noble, what is all things that we are encouraged to be when we have a faith that is based on, the love of Jesus. And I'm so thankful that I get to be a part of what happens here at Rhema CC. Welcome to Sunday morning. I have been bombarding you guys over the last few weeks. It's been a pretty cool month, actually. We've been talking big, heavy stuff. We've been talking some stuff that's a little bit different, but honouring life. Life is such a gift, and I think it's so important for us to be able to spend some time just sitting on it, just together as an audience, as a group of people who know and love God, and who can really respect the fact that He has given us, every one of us, a number of days, and we've got, what we do from the beginning to the end and everything in between needs to be filled with passion in a lot of ways. I want to start this morning with Psalm 139, 13 to 14. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Now, how cool is that truth? As I said, over the last few weeks, we've been talking all sorts of different things. So I had Georgia in a couple of weeks ago. Georgia is a beautiful friend of mine, and she is sadly in her last few days, and she knows that, but she has taken and shown us how to live fully, even to the moment where she's laying in bed and she's sharing her insight and her wisdom of what has been, her takes on life. Last week we spoke to Abby, my daughter, who you guys are very familiar with, had a really serious car accident, and she shared some serious wisdom. Someone 18 was able to share with us how important grabbing hold of those things that we take for advantage of. There's things we take for granted, like just being able to walk across the kitchen bench and wipe down the kitchen bench, or get some food from the fridge, or even brush her own hair and things like that. So for a moment in time, she couldn't do that, and it sort of gave her a reason to think about what is meaningful and what is needed in life. And today I have someone who is pretty fantastic, I have to say. Now, I have Jen from Diamond Women, who is kindly, very, very kindly offered to come and share some of this morning with us. And honestly, I have a bit of a personal thing with Jen, because she didn't actually realise until this morning, but I was actually one of her clients. Welcome, Jen.
Good morning, Lindy. Lovely to be here.
I'm so thankful you're able to. So thank you for rushing in to go, yep, I can do this.
No, I'm so excited.
I appreciate it.
So thrilled to see you again.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of background. Life for me, I think the context of life really started to make sense probably in the last 5 or 6 years. You guys know I've been very open. If you go through the podcast, you'll see that I am someone who has struggled with life just like every one of you. I have had my, oh my goodness, I can't do this moments. I have had plenty of those, and my youngest child was one of those. When I was pregnant with Ari's our youngest, so he is 4 now, and he well and truly is 4. Woo, he's 4. I was overwhelmed. I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. I really don't. And obviously to my core, morally, ethically, spiritually, I was like, I know what is right, but psychologically and emotionally, I was burnt out. I was done. 6 kids. Number 6 was intense. He was... That's a nice way of putting it. But yeah, I just didn't know if I could do it. Now, my mum and my sister actually urged me to contact Diamond, and I was kind of going, nah, I can't do that because they'll tell me what to do. Not at all. I finally surrendered and went, no, okay, I need to go and talk to someone who is able to be that listening ear. And Jen actually was the person I saw when I walked in, which is so surreal. Absolutely. So I'm going to ask you a few questions about your service.
Absolutely.
And anything else you want to share along the way.
Sure.
So, so tell us about Diamond Women.
So it started 18 years ago. I had just come out of studying, and one of the topics was ethics. Yep. And what I found in my research was that the statistics of the number of women that were choosing to terminate their pregnancy was enormous. And I thought, well, that's fine if we believe in pro-choice. But I'm like, I'm sure with looking at these numbers, not all of them knew that there was support out there, that there were options, that there was a pathway forward if they chose not to terminate. And so I began to research and find out what actually was out there, and I found this massive gap.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I came from quite a religious family myself, and I knew what would have been said to me if that was my journey. And I was like, where could I have gone to find a safe space where I could just unpack, like what you went through, everything that would have been going on for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Perfect.
and so that thus began the journey of what is now Diamond Women.
I'm so thankful, because you're right. There is this bit there's still a gap. Like, you guys do a huge amount of stuff, but there is, with that voice of just being able to be echoed, that there is hope in and opportunity in this world that says that, you're if you bring new life into the world, that means for women it's it's going to cut opportunities for education, for more career advancements. Like, that's the message that's echoed. But the fact that you guys are out there supporting women who are going, what do we do with this? And I'm testament to that, because even just some of the questions that you gave me, I would walk away and going, she's right. This is not about me. This is, there's a lot of stuff that even 5 years later it still resounds in my head. And I'm like, there is still purpose. There's still things we can be doing. A child does not mean that's the end for a mum.
And I think you've just nailed it there. That is the question, and that you see on the look of the girls' faces with complete fear, and it's my life or their life, because my life is inevitably over if I continue this pregnancy. But the good news is that you live in Australia.
Absolutely.
And the good news is that there is help and support, and you may not have it all at once, but you can have it all, but not at once.
Yeah.
And we see women that feel like there is no pathway forward.
Yeah.
And naturally there are things that complicate the issue, like domestic violence and mental health challenges and things like that.
Yeah.
But again, if you can take the time to sit in the pregnancy, not rush this irreversible decision, and just absorb, process, put a plan in place, you can actually find a way forward.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm excited for is the future years where you will see, like in 30, 40 years, what Ari is in your family.
Oh, that's exactly right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely.
Like all the Aris of the world.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think I just take my hat off to you guys, because you're right. It is about those individual lives and going, okay, what's this little person going to become? That's what I want to hold on to this morning, guys, that hope of new life. Life is a gift, as I've said time and time again. It is a gift. And that newness of that new life is just that burst, that for you parents out there, when you breathe that new baby in, it's like, life has begun. I'm going to leave it there for a bit, guys. We're back shortly to throw more questions at Jen. Thank you for hanging out with us this morning. We'll see you back here before too long. Welcome back, Coasties. That was No Other Love by Jasmine Murray. And you are joining us here at Rhema CC. I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host, and I love doing my Sunday mornings with you guys. Hope you're having a great Sunday morning. Hope the sun is hovering over you beautifully. I hope things are looking bright and hopeful. Hope is a big part of what we are talking about this morning. Hope is what we try and talk about most Sundays, because hope, I think, and I actually believe, having worked with clients who are in situations where it feels like it's a bit dire, hope is what inspires and brings us back to, let's get up, let's keep moving, let's keep doing things. I have another beautiful lady in front of me at the moment, Jen. Jen is from Diamond Women, and she is definitely a ray of sunshine. She's just an absolute source of hope in the community, and the community is actually partly Gosford, so it's Central Coast. It's very relative to what we do here at Rhema Central Coast. I'm having a shocker this morning. And there are other locations. So Jen, I want to just ask you about that. and what you guys actually specifically do.
Sure. So I think, as we kind of alluded to, we were set up to reach the women that were found out they're pregnant and are freaking out and like want to know what their options are, which we call options-minded clients.
Yep.
So, but what we found is that we actually see a lot more complex than that. So we see women that have had a termination and are navigating the grief and trauma associated with that.
Sure.
And we provide free counselling for them for as long as they want.
That's
No
amazing.
Medicare needed.
Wow.
No barriers to care, basically.
Yeah, sure.
And we see women that have chosen to continue their pregnancy, but they don't have support. So they could be new immigrants, refugees, international students, women that have escaped domestic and family violence that are they just need support.
Yep.
And so we provide kind of those three as a pivotal counselling, therapeutic care. But what we also want to do is make sure that when they do choose to parent, that they have the supports around them. So we run parenting programs.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is, we've kind of coined the phrase mum to mum.
Yep.
Because it's supported and run by community mums. So they get to meet local mums from their community at the program.
Perfect way to do it.
We want friendships and good food.
Absolutely. Sign me up.
Yeah, and we want them to also like learn a few things. So we have a program there that helps them understand like their value, breastfeeding, nutrition, budgeting, exercise, all those kind of things that they can take and apply, as well as some mental health tools to do the journey with.
Yeah,
because having kids can challenge them
just a
little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
So we want them to be strong, good, competent mums, and so we want to wrap all those supports around them.
And it sounds like you are ticking all the boxes. Everything you're sitting there, you're mentioning, I'm like, oh, yep, I can see how, that's definitely neat. Yeah, that's, so they're real applications. They're real,
and we give them free baby goods for about 12 months.
Yep,
so
perfect.
that alleviates that financial burden, because with the cost of living at the moment, everyone is like, oh my word, nappies, formula, all that. So we want to alleviate that.
That's awesome.
So if we can give them cot, bassinet, car seat, change table,
all the
wipes,
bits and pieces.
nappies, a few maternity clothes, baby clothes, blankets, then they can go, okay, so for 12 months I more or less have to just exist.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good way to be.
Yeah, I can just learn this and settle into this new role.
That's right, isn't it? It is. It's. I mean, I know the day I had my eldest daughter, I had no idea what I was doing, and she was in the room with me. I didn't even know how to change a nappy. I'm like, what do I do with this kid? And I had a lady who, she was a midwife, but her language was a big barrier there, so I didn't even know how to say, I don't know what to do with this kid. So I can only imagine that you guys see it over and over and over, just that, what do we do? I've got to learn this without the whole stress of, but I've got to pay for this and I've got to cover this. And
the whole unplanned, like, I didn't factor this in. I didn't sign up for this,
absolutely.
I was married, and when I put my son into the car to leave the hospital, I remember thinking, why are the midwives letting me leave? And why aren't they coming with?
They should be in the car here.
They should be with us.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah, we have no clue. Yeah. And I'm like, just keep him alive, just keep him alive.
And you know what's the hope in that is that you look around, there's a lot of people in the world, so it means we've all survived. That's right. So well, I honestly, as I said, I take my hat off to you guys, because you're obviously offering a beautiful service to community. So in terms of demographics, even locations, whereabouts are you guys?
So we have an office in Castle Hill in the northwestern suburbs of Sydney. We have a hub in the CBD, and we have an office up here on the Central Coast at Gosford.
Very cool.
We just last week or the week before opened our office in Surfers Paradise on the Gold Coast, which we're very excited about.
Yeah.
And then we offer our programs regionally as well. So we're running out of Wollongong, Wyong, Wagga Wagga, and it'll be in the suburbs of
Fantastic.
Brisbane.
Actually, I'm just thinking now, my daughter, so my second daughter has a little man who's 15 months, and she actually used a lot of your services down in Wollongong too.
Oh, awesome.
So you haven't just helped me, you've helped generations below me, which is pretty cool.
That's very fun.
So,
I love that.
So thank you for being amazing service, because we obviously needed you.
Yeah. And the world's become so complicated, and like you were saying earlier, there is the language in society is like everything is against me. Like if I continue this pregnancy,
totally.
there is no way forward for me.
Yep.
But there really is. Like there's programs and schooling and education that provide childcare and daycare services.
Yeah, very
there's
true.
online everything now. Thank you, COVID.
Yeah, that's right too.
And so there is so much support. The government is upped. I think you now get $1,800 straight up for having a baby. So there's there is additional supports.
Yeah.
And so,
but stuff I didn't know about either.
Yes. Well, the media is not very good at sharing that information. But that's, so when someone is facing an unplanned pregnancy, I think even as a community, we need to, our first words need to be congratulations.
Oh, absolutely.
Like this is actually something to be celebrated. You know, it's called a gift.
Absolutely.
Not everyone, you know, if you look at the numbers of IVF, not everyone is able to be gifted so easily.
That's exactly right.
So, and if we start to change the language and the mindset, I was talking to a builder came to my house and he lives in the western suburbs of Sydney and he has 3 small children. He said every time his wife goes out, the Lebanese and the multicultural environment there, the women there, even in their full hijabs, blow them kisses. Good job. Good job. You're doing a good job.
That's right.
You know? And I think like if we did that as a society, good job, Mum. Good job.
That's
Look
right.
at you.
Oh, absolutely. And you're right. Culture plays a big part in that too.
And just start changing the narrative around it. You know, like
absolutely.
Years ago we would have gone, surprise pregnancy.
Yeah.
Now it's like unplanned and it seems doom and gloom, and it shouldn't have to be. You know.
Well, I'll just quickly, because I know we haven't got much time here, but I last weekend was at a gala dinner for another organisation that very similar, supporting, you know, stories of women who have sort of gone through the unplanned stuff and got to the side and gone, yep, it was worth it, and just kind of just putting that out there for people to see that there is hope, there is, you know, opportunity. But that was one of the things that was echoed was this, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's like, let's flip it. The language behind it can alter how we as a culture, and this is one thing we talk about here on a Sunday morning, is flicking that switch that says, let's reframe things. Let's look at you know, life as an opportunity, as hope, as all that stuff. So language, you're right, is a huge part of that.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to leave it there for a little bit. We are going to talk more things, life and new life in particular, when we come back. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll see you soon. Bye, guys. And that was Passion by Young and Free. Young and Free. Wouldn't it be nice to be like that again? Well, I tell my kids I'm young and free, but they don't actually believe in what I'm saying. They think I'm old and not so free at all. So, yeah, it's debatable. What is that? Anyway, I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host here at Rhema CC. Welcome to Sunday mornings again, guys. I hope your morning's going okay. If you happen to be out and about, maybe you're going to church, maybe you're just rolling out of bed. Who knows what's happening in your world, but whatever is happening, I hope it is fruitful. I hope it's hopeful. I hope it's all things good. You've got a God who loves you. You've got a God who wants to see you achieve, to pursue, to live for hope. Hope is it's just such a big component of our faith. And I think it's really important to echo that time and time again. Hope it's a God-given gift, really. And pregnancy and new life certainly inspire that. That's not necessarily what we hear. It's not necessarily what the media tells us. The media can often be a bit of a downcast on that. They can sort of play, you know, that whole agenda of, you know, is there really any hope? Is there anything, you know, for women, does it mean that that's the end of everything? I want to question that today. I want to question that. I want to ask you guys yourselves to dig deeper. Why are we given, you know, the hope of new life if it's not for something that is good? I certainly think for myself, from a faith perspective, I think God inspires everything. God designs everything. And if we look at Scripture itself, I read part of this morning, but we look at Scripture itself. I'm going to read it to you guys now. Psalm 139, 13 to 18. I did read part of it before, but not all of it. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Guys, he didn't make a mistake when he made you. You are perfectly designed. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious are your thoughts, God? How vast is the sum of them? Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I'm awake, I'm still with you. How cool is it to know that we have a God who designed us perfectly? He knit us together in our mother's womb, and he designed us with, every fibre of our being, every cell he placed together, every way that our brain functions. He designed it perfectly. He did not make a mistake when he made you, and he did not make a mistake when he continues to make the humans that are yet to enter the world. Jen is from Diamond Women. Jen's been helping us out this morning. We have been chatting about her service and just how powerful it is. I want to ask, this is a bit of a random left of centre question, but one memory that you have that's stayed with you in your time in the last 18 years you've been doing, what's like, it could be one or two or three, but some of the most, I guess, profound or beautiful or rewarding moments that you've had in working with women as they promote new life, as they bring new life into the world?
Oh gosh, there's a few. I mean, like of course the highlight is always, when you see someone that really feels like they're somewhere between a rock and a hard place and seriously considering terminating their pregnancy.
Yeah.
And but my favorite point is when you're talking to them and you're unpacking all the feelings of like hopelessness and frustration and blame and shame.
Yeah.
And then you reflect, you hear the story, but I'm hearing something totally different. I'm hearing they've had strength. They've overcome so many obstacles already in their past.
Sure.
I'm like, this might be a comma, not a full stop.
Yep.
But it's a comma, and I'm like, they're going to be fine. And then, so you talk to them and ask questions and get curious about, like, how did they overcome those previous obstacles? And then it's almost like you watch this, Oprah calls it the aha moment, when the light comes on, and they realize that they actually have what it takes to continue the pregnancy, that the things that they're talking about, they actually can overcome them. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. I see. But it's nothing that we've said. There's no manipulation or anything like that. It's just
they get it.
We're trying to help them see themselves the way we see them and hear them unpack all the things that's going on for them that they thought were immovable and insurmountable. Yep. I remember we had this one woman, and she was young, and 19, 20, and she said, you don't understand. My family's going to turn against me. I'm going to be kicked out. Yep. I'll probably lose my job. All these things, like horrible things, legitimate fears. Yeah, yeah. And yet, we'd talked and found out, she had overcome, her HSC while having serious health issues and all the like, I thought she was amazing. I still have trauma from the HSC 100 years ago. And then she decided, she goes, okay, you watch the lights come on. She goes, okay, I think I can maybe do this. I'm going to talk to my mum. And I said, okay, awesome. And we coached her through that, and, because we didn't want her mum to turn and be abusive or anything. Yeah. And it was honestly like, she rang me in tears, and her mum was thrilled for her. Oh. Has already started planning her baby shower.
Oh, that's awesome.
Her job was like, yes, we will turn around and we'll work around your doctor's appointments and what hours you want. Like everything that she was legitimately afraid of turned around for good. Yeah. And we've seen that time and time again, and it's hard to say, look, trust me. Yep. But if you choose life, I promise you that God will throw open the floodgates of heaven for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we can't. I
can't actually say that.
Say that. Yeah. And I don't have a signed agreement from heaven on that one. Right. But
work on that.
Yeah. But we have seen that time and time again. Yeah. And I think that's the highlight.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Or the ones that go, no, I've still made up my mind, and then they ghost you or don't reply to any of your calls or texts for a few weeks, and you assume, that they've gone through and they just need time to process. Yep. And then they show up 3 months later and introduce you to their baby.
Yeah, you're like, hang on a sec.
Okay then.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And even, it's a harder and longer road, but the women that have chosen to terminate, that come in with enormous grief and trauma, watching them walk through to a place of health and wholeness and freedom of that, knowing that they will make different choices.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. What would you say is the hardest thing for you?
It really is people that have it all, that have no reason to to terminate.
Yeah.
In terms of like logistics or finances or location or support.
Yep.
So it can be work from home, married, got all the money, got family that live next door, like all the things, but they're like, it's just not ready.
Yeah.
They're just not ready.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like they miss such an amazing opportunity
Yep.
for what could have been.
Absolutely. So how do you deal with that then? How do you work through that yourself?
I have to remember, like, God also gave us free choice, and we still don't always do what He'd like either. And, you know, like that they have to live, you know, it's their life or their choice.
I think what you've said there, I think, is such an important message to have funneled through, because we hear this whole, it's this constant, you're right, it is, you know, it's God's choice. God allows us to have free choice, to have free will, to be able to explore things for ourselves. There is absolutely that. But I think the message that's sent through media and through even just society itself is, it's kind of this concept of just leave it, just let it be, you know, whatever you decide is your choice. But there's no talk of what is, you know, the hope of, if you continue with this, you don't know what the possibilities are. And I think what you guys are doing is exactly that. It's that flourishing, that growth of a message that says there is hope. Keep going. We will respect your choice, because that's, you know, God's given us all free will, but there is hope. Yeah. There is hope in new life, and you just don't know what's ahead. I think what you said before is exactly right. When I was talking about my youngest, Ari, I never know, you know, what is in store. But I will tell you something I haven't told you, is I had him on the day everything shut down for lockdown the first time.
Wow.
Literally the day. These guys, if you are someone who listens on a Sunday morning, you will know this, because I've echoed that a few times. And it was bizarre. It was a very bizarre. I went in for my first C-section out of 7 kids. I went in and it was a pretty traumatic experience, but I had him at exactly 12:06 a.m. on the day everything shut down. And to know I was bringing him out into a world that was in utter fear. This is the theme when you were just talking a moment ago. Fear, darkness, I don't know if I can do this. And then to have this little baby in my arms and to be able to hold him and go, new life. You know, there's this bright spark of God saying, I'm not done yet. I am not done yet. There is a generation to come. And I look at him every day and I think I was like, I don't know if I can do this, God. I'm so, you know, all those things you were just talking about. But to hold him, even today, even when he's been absolute terror, because on the way here it was
4.
Not fun. Exactly, he's 4. But I think you're right. I think just you don't know what God's going to do with that hope and that opportunity.
We saw one lady from another country, and she found herself pregnant here, and she rang her mum and said, what do you think? Her mum said, would you believe I made the same decision? I made a decision to terminate after your brother. And she goes, but I regret it ever since, because look at you, you're in Australia and your brother died at 18 in a car accident. I hadn't have terminated, I wouldn't be aging alone in a country by myself.
Yeah, true.
And I'm like, my goodness, you know, if you think, and God is a God of generations and legacy. If we start thinking generationally,
absolutely,
like we don't know.
Oh, some powerful stuff.
And I know we don't know what we don't know.
No,
but
that's
I'm
right.
like, if we can start changing the narrative around unplanned pregnancy being unexpected surprise and motherhood not being like the arch enemy of society.
Well, that's right. Absolutely. That's exactly right. We need our mamas. We need, that's exactly it.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love what you guys are doing. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Oh, no.
I'm going to kind of bring things to a bit of a halt there for a little bit, guys. We'll be back. We've got Greg Laurie at 8:30 and we'll be back at about 9:15. So we're talking more things, new life. What an awesome opportunity it is for just us to be able to experience new life and how it happens. We will talk more of that when we come back. All right, see you guys soon. Welcome back, guys. That was Beyond This World by Sean Locke. I am Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host here at Rhema CC. Welcome to Sunday. It is indeed I'm hopeful for your sake. It's going to be a hopefully fantastic day. Not sure what my day is going to entail today. I'm just trying to think what is ahead. Obviously, we've got the church stuff that always happens. Oh, you know what? We do actually have something happening tonight. We are going to have a multicultural meal at our church. I'm not sure what that's going to entail. From someone who has been living amongst plenty of cultures back in Western Sydney, I know that food can be one of those things. It can break down some serious barriers, can be quite overwhelming and scary at times too, because you're not quite sure what you're having. But no, it's cool to just learn about other people, other ways of life, how they do things, and food speaks beyond all different barriers that we put up. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, I hope your day is going to be pretty good. I am in the process of having a pretty awesome conversation. A lot of pretties in that, wasn't there? Sorry about that. But we have Jan here from Diamond Women, and she has been phenomenal this morning. So it's been really eye-opening just to see what Diamond does. Diamond, we actually thankfully have it here on the coast as well. So we spoke this morning to Jen about where they're located, and we thankfully here on the coast are one of those lucky, blessed parts of the world who happen to have a beautiful service like Diamond. And my goodness, guys, they have helped me personally. They've helped my daughter, and I had forgotten about that until we were talking this morning. I went, oh, actually, they were helping my daughter at one stage too. So, yeah, you do some powerful stuff. And I know two little boys who are a product of just being able to just see that there's opportunity and there's hope. So that's pretty phenomenal. One of them's my grandson, one of them's my own little man. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it is
I love that.
pretty surreal. So Thank you for what you're doing,
what
you've been doing. So I'm going to ask, we've got obviously the political stuff is a big part of where we're at the moment. So there's, you guys, if you're familiar with different laws that have been, debated on and all sorts of things this last week, actually, it's been, personally, from a Christian perspective, I think it's pretty, it's pretty devastating to think that there is just, when it comes to terminations, we are looking at a world that doesn't necessarily value this is a bit of a side thing for me, but I think when you look at new life, there's an opportunity there. And I think we're in a place and a message that is this undertone of mum's choice is everything. And it's sadly the baby is not necessarily recognised. And I know that's a message that when I was pregnant with Ari, I kept hearing over and over in my mind. This child is not at fault. This, the fact that your things are not going to plan, Lindy, it's not his fault. He's her, whatever it was at that stage. I don't know if it was a boy or a girl or what it was. And I need to be reminded. I just kept hearing God's voice going, he is separate to you. Honour his life. Honour his, I say his now because I know he's a his, but at the time it was kind of like honour this person's life. And yeah, pregnancy is hard. I'm sure you guys well and truly hear about all the hard stuff.
Yes.
What would you say is the biggest thing?
When someone's so physically sick during their pregnancy that they can't operate a normal life. Yeah. And if it's an unexpected or unplanned pregnancy to boot, then I didn't expect this. I didn't plan for this.
Yeah, I'm doing this.
Is it what I want?
Yeah.
Do I want to do this for the next 9 months?
Yeah, sure.
And and I feel like society has made a real normative action now. During 2019 with the abortion law reform, they legalised abortion up to birth for any reason whatsoever. Yeah. But what that does, it has a real normative nature on society.
Yeah, that's
so since then, even our stats speak to the challenges we face as girls call in because it's
what
normal.
Do you do with that? Yeah,
we're told, the government says to put your seatbelt on because it's legal and safe. So we put it on because it's in our best interest. Yeah. So if you have an unplanned pregnancy, we're told it's legal and safe to terminate your pregnancy. Yeah. And so that's been our biggest challenge is how do we navigate that, and how do we get them to pause for a minute to really reflect on this decision that is the only decision regarding their pregnancy that's irreversible. Even if they choose to place their baby up for adoption, that's a longer process that they can change their mind several months long, the pregnancy. Yeah. But this is the only one that's irreversible. And so we're always like, you've got plenty of time. Yeah. Yeah. Just
slow down.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's you're absolutely right. It's got to be and it's got to be so hard from a legal perspective, just knowing how you guys navigate that, because it's a tricky one, because you just want to say this is how I see things.
But we want them to be informed, and there's so much gross misinformation out there and lacking information, and we want to be able to share every detail with
Yeah.
them so that they don't go, I spoke to my cousin's best friend's sister and
They
she
know.
said.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Yeah.
Well, this is what's actually involved. This is what, have you considered this?
Yeah.
I'm wondering what life would look like for you if this or that.
Yeah.
And so you get them to like pause and think for a minute rather than just race off.
No, I love that you're able to just do that. And I actually, for myself, I think you're right. I think even from my own experiences that you're right, having that time just to kind of just sit just for a minute, just think. It's like, oh, yeah, suddenly everything just clicks. You're like, oh, this makes sense.
Oprah's aha moment.
Yeah, that's right. It's a few of them going off at one time. Yeah. No, it's a messy world.
It is.
And I think you guys, I think I just want to say for those of us who are out there who love life and love new life and the gift of life, thank you for what you're doing.
Oh,
because
honestly,
it is a tricky world. It's a tricky world to navigate because you're trying to do everything politically correct and legally correct and to your core when you're going, but my faith and my, my ethos, all that stuff it can just get messy.
Yeah. So, and the numbers are just so astronomical. Like it can't be.
Yeah.
And now
what are the numbers? What statistically for you guys, what do you see week to week?
It's more, we look at it month to month.
Okay.
So anywhere between 64 to 150 calls we get through. Yeah.
That's
this year's
amazing.
been quite large. This month's been a bit quieter, but we're...
And do you see any trend in is there any background sort of stuff, social stuff that seems to change the...
We're seeing a lot more that are what we would term abortion determined or abortion minded.
Yeah.
So I've just found out I'm pregnant. I'm 3 weeks or 2 weeks, and I just need to have it done.
Right.
And that's a lot of a hard place. And then we are definitely seeing more late term terminations.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's harder on our team.
I bet.
And harder to navigate because we know they think that it's like a standard medical practice,
sure.
but I broke my toe and had to have my toe operated on.
Yeah.
When I woke up from surgery, I still felt a little unhinged.
Yeah.
I can't imagine thinking you're just going to have a sudden surgery and waking up and then you're not ever fine to just carry on.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder.
Absolutely.
And I think we don't have the budget that these clinics and all the things do to warrant promoting and search engine optimization on your Google. Where do we show up and all the things? And so I think it's this opportunity and having this conversation with you, Lindy, is so important because people know that if someone in their world, their children, niece, or someone at school or work gets pregnant, there's somewhere for them to go where they can just get honest information,
awesome.
compassionate care, non-judgmental support, and be able to navigate the journey at least with some assistance.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And guys, what Jen has said is exactly right. The financial aspect is huge. Being able to put out this message of hope is massive. And I can only imagine that your service can well and truly deal with, the offer of any financial assistance out there. So
yes, please.
Is that something? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And is there specific ways people can?
Yeah, sure. If they go straight to our website, diamondwomen.com.au, donate. There's lots of avenues. Or join the Village, which is our monthly giving program. And honestly, because 93 cents in every dollar goes direct into client care, the smallest donation, even $5 a month, makes a significant impact for what we're able to do and provide. We don't get government funding or any kind of assistance, so we just rely on sacrificial giving of individuals.
So there you heard it now, guys. It's up to us. We've got to get behind this. Life is a gift, as I've said time and time again this morning. I say week in, week out. It is a gift, and we have just in this community, we have active organisations promoting that. It's really important for us to support it in whatever way we can. So if you're able to, obviously touch base with Diamond Women, well and truly, thank you for what you do. I'm going to wind things up for here, guys. I'll be back in a little bit and we will close things up for our Sunday morning. But again, embrace life. That's what this is about. I'll see you guys before too long. And that was You Got This by Love and the Outcome. What a great way for us to be reminded of exactly the truth. We've been talking about pregnancy, unplanned pregnancy, the fact that there's many of us women out there, and probably dads too, who have been sort of umming and ahhing over those situations of, can I do this? Can I really be a mum? Can I be a dad? Can I do this well? And that song there is a great reminder that indeed we can. And my goodness, it is so good to cling to the truth that from a biblical perspective, God's promised he is not going to abandon us. And if we cling to him, we can do all things through him. When I look at my 7 kids, I think, oh my goodness, I have no idea how I've done 7 of them, but somehow I have. And I just think, yeah, the only way that I can explain that is the fact that I have just relied on him constantly, time in, time out, gone, I can't do this, sort it out, God, you're going to have to sort me out. He is a God of hope, he's a God of opportunity, he's a God of joy, of peace, of patience, of kindness, of all things that are good, and we have that truth here. I hope you're having a great Sunday morning, guys. I hope things are going well. I certainly am. I have got Jen here from Diamond Women with me. She's been chatting this morning about all things pregnancy related and the realities of what they are, their organisation are kind of contemplating and having to work through in terms of just changes politically, changes legally, all that sort of messy stuff, and how it, that message of hope of life can be pushed through despite the other louder messages, I guess, is kind of where we've been this morning. Jen, to tie things up, share with us a little bit about what's going on specifically for how, I know that we've talked a little bit about financial, being able to support you guys financially. In terms of other events or things that we can get behind, what's going on for you guys?
On the 4th of September, we've got a corporate golf day. So any avid golfers that want to have a putt,
there you go.
Just give us a shout out go through our website.
Yep. And your website is
www.diamondwomen.com.au.
Yep.
And then just reach out to us. We've got tickets available, or have a look at our social media, which is Diamond Women AU on Instagram and Facebook.
Yep.
That's our biggest event coming up this year on the 4th of September. Other than that, what women need facing an unplanned pregnancy is they need support. And that looks like the old school village where people come around
absolutely.
And so where we are so time poor as a society, one thing they can do is just partner with us financially, and that makes a significant difference. Yep. And then if I could say anything else is just keep being positive every time you see someone that's pregnant.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Be the support. Don't ask them what they need. Just take them over food.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. All for that. Yeah. And even if they're not pregnant, you can bring them food. Like me.
Yeah. And if you can't cook, Uber Eats vouchers go a long way.
That's exactly right. Guys, I think there's a call in that. We've got a call on us as a church, as a faith-based community. Be the light, be the hope, be the source of I can do this.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage you guys, get involved in whatever way you can. Support organisations like Diamond Women if you can. The voices need to get louder. We need to be flicking that switch, as I said last week. We live amongst a death culture. We've got to flick the switch. We've got to put this focus on hope, on life, on everything that we are called to be. I encourage you this week, think about it, pray about it, and listen to that discernment. What can you do to make that voice louder? Encourage that lady who has just made that announcement. Say fantastic news, and I can verify that one word, congratulations, it'll stay with her for a lifetime. It's powerful stuff. Speak life through your actions. Speak life through just the way you interact. Yeah. It's such a powerful thing. I'm going to leave it there this week, guys. I hope you're having a beautiful one. As I said, I am going to be back next week for Father's Day, which is obviously another beautiful side of this whole pregnancy chat. Yep. Huge responsibility for our dads out there. We're raising the next generation, and that might be from day dot. We may be looking at children who are being in that state of conception right now, or they may be older and wiser and they might be a teenager and know that they know everything. I've got a few of those. Wherever they're at, the gift of parenting is huge. So, looking forward to that next week, guys. I will see you back here. Thank you again, Jan, for coming this morning.
And thank you for your prayers as well. They make a massive difference.
Oh, honestly, you guys do an amazing job. Yeah. So thank you. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a beautiful week and enjoy whatever is in store for you. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye, guys.